What's up, y'all? It is time for happy hour. Cheers. We made it to the end of a Wednesday, August 12th. It's Wednesday. It's August 12th, right? You know, got to check my days, got to check my dates. Guys, Wednesday's over. We survived the first half of the week, and now we just get to slide into the weekend. Get something in your glass. Check in the comments. I want to know where you are. I want to know what you're drinking. Say hey. It has been too long since I've seen you guys. Stoked to share a little bit about Chenin Blanc, Pinotage, and the rest of what South Africa has to offer. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun William Chris happy hour and wine nerd segment. Cheers. This song always gets me going, y'all. Rinda, what is up in San Antonio? Having some Syrah. Yes, Jennifer. I'd rather jump into the weekend. I like where your brain's at right there. Doug, happy hour indeed. Drinking Modelo Especial in Allen, Texas. Alta, cool side in Frisco, trying Sway Rosé. It's good, isn't it? I think a lot of people are like, canned rosé, really? Yep, really. You're gonna enjoy it. Have yourself some. Brian in Northwest Austin having some Vino Verde. We covered that last time. I love it. Good to see people putting their new learning to work. Stephanie and Christian in Stonewall, drinking Chardonnay, not drinking Chardonnay, drinking Chardonnay. Lynn in San Antonio having some sparkling water right now. Something better soon. I like it. Eric and Asha, good to see your names. San Antonio drinking Skeleton Key White. That's what I'm having. Veronica, happy birthday, everybody. It is Veronica's birthday. Everybody say happy birthday to Veronica. Cheers to you, friend. Happy birthday. Happy hour and happy birthday. Oh, yeah. Tasting good. Lee, cheers from the Big D. Okay, you must mean Dallas. Good there. 19 Skeleton Key White as well. Jeffrey and Arlington having some Spindrift. You know, I've been on the whatever the Amazon sparkling water is, Bubble or Bubbly or something. It's not bad. Not gonna lie, it's not bad. I don't hate it. All right, guys, this song is starting to dwindle on me. I do like this last little. Gotta wait for it. Here it comes. That synthesizer keyboard, y'all, it just gives me every time. All right, y'all, let's jump into the fun. Keep checking in the comments. I want to know what's going on in your world, where you are, what you're drinking, all that kind of fun stuff. Today, I am drinking, it is Wednesday. I am drinking white wine. I am having Skeleton Key 2019 Proprietor's White. So you guys know the whole story about Skeleton Key. We don't tell you all the ingredients. Now, I can give you a few hints. You're thinking in the Roussanne world, the Marsanne world, perhaps even a little bit of pig pool world. Can't give you all the contents. It's a trade secret. We don't tell you what's in the Skeleton Key Red either, or even the Skeleton Key Rosé, which is in existence now. Little sneak peek there, guys. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell people that. There's rumor of a Skeleton Key. Oh, yes, there was a Skeleton Key Rosé. I think it's like starting to go out into the world. I don't know if I just gave up something I wasn't supposed to tell you, but it's pretty delicious. But let's talk about this because we're having the Skeleton Key White today. So on the nose, you're definitely getting a little bit of that like ripe peach, ripe apricot. Little bit of almost like a buttery vanilla situation. Not a lot, we're not talking like over oaked butter Chardonnay kind of thing, but a little bit of like maybe almost marshmallow note. Yep. Great acid on the palate, guys. So full body. This definitely has weight and texture. That likely means a little bit of oak on this white wine. So when you introduce oxygen to white wine to age it, you get a little more body. It's not the clean, crisp kind of style of white wine. It takes on more texture, more weight, more complexity. And so you have more body here. That usually also means you started with riper grapes and thicker skinned grapes. So I'll go here, a little bit of like tart lemon, maybe lemon curd. Has a it does have a touch of like almost vanilla-y. I kind of go to like the marshmallow world sometimes here in white wines. But definitely like peach, apricot, lemon curd, maybe even a tiny bit of like white flour. This is delicious. This is not, if you're the like crisp, clean Vino Verde style of white wine drinker, this is not that. Okay. And maybe you drink all of it. So if you're looking for that clean, crisp, kind of sharp white wine, this is not that. This is more of a, what we call round. So it's the difference between sharp and round. This is a rounder white wine, little more body, little more texture. It's not sweet. It's still got a good tartness, which good acidity on the palate to match the weight and the kind of round texture that you get from a riper fruit profile. If you like a little bit of oak on your white wines, Skeleton Key White is your go-to. Y'all, with this, I want some like creamy pastas. I had last night, gosh, what is it? Tagliatelle. That I think it's like the bow-shaped pasta. Tagliatelle with like an Alfredo cream sauce and spinach and a lot of garlic. Y'all, this would be perfect with a heavy cream sauce, that heavier weight, but a nice line of acid to cut through the cream still. You still need that balance. I would even also go here like a chicken piccata. Oh, if we're gonna go grill, if you want to go grill on this, grilled chicken would be great. You could do chicken fajitas with this, even with a little bit of spice because of that like rounder, heavier texture. It's a ripe fruit, and the alcohol is still fairly low. I bet this is under 13. Yeah, this is only 12.3. So if you get a little spice on some like chicken fajita tacos off the grill, this would go really well because that spice, it's not going to be bothered by a lower alcohol wine, and the acid isn't so high. So remember, with spicy things like chili spice, you have to be careful with high alcohol wines, and you have to be careful with high acid wines because those are like throwing gasoline on that chili spice sensation that you get in your mouth. This has neither of those. It's not too high. It's got good acid, but not high acid. And the alcohol is not high. And so it's going to be a really nice balance and complement to even putting some like nice hot sauce or salsa, your hot peppers even on your chicken fajitas off the grill. So I'm like salivating as we're talking about this. I got some food delivered like mid-afternoon to have like a pre-happy hour snack, and now I'm hungry again. And I want some chicken fajitas. So cheers. Happy hour, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. This is really good. Lemon curd is like starting to come out. This wine's gonna change as it's in the glass and get some time. I'm pouring myself a little more because I want the wine to breathe. I want it to change and evolve. This wine is definitely gonna do that over time. So I'm gonna keep coming back as we go. But today we are gonna be talking about South Africa. Guys, I went back. If you remember, if you've been watching for a little while, we did a little poll, like what areas or what countries do you want me to cover on happy hour? So we've already done Portugal. We got to do Austria. So this week we're going to do South Africa, and I'm super stoked. I've been able to go to South Africa 3 times. Most people don't even get a chance to go once. So I feel very privileged to be able to say that. Like, I loved it. I made plans to go back. I found really cheap airfare. I'm on those like airfare deal email lists, and I've been able to go 3 times. Incredible. I can't more highly recommend it. But you guys know the drill. Before I jump in and start talking about all things South Africa, I'm going to put this up. I want you guys to drop into the comments. I want to know all your questions about South Africa. If I'm going along and I mention something, you guys know the drill here, hopefully by now. I want you to jump into the comments. Let me know what your questions are, because we're going to talk about the 3 things you need to know about South African wine today. And everybody get your glasses ready. It's time for the colored pencils. Everybody, time for the maps. Let's get it. Jennifer knows she's ahead of the game here. It is map time. Let us pull up. Okay, I know that some of you are like, okay, it's called South Africa, but I don't actually know where that's located. So let me start out with just like, hey, this is the continent of Africa. And at the very southern tip of the continent of Africa is South Africa. I know it's shocking that this country would be called South Africa and it's on the southern tip of the African continent. All right, cool. Also, to be clear, because a lot of people mess this up, Africa is not a country, y'all. Africa is a continent. South Africa is the country. Cool. It's at the very, very tip. Now, when you get this far south, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay. When you get this far south, and we're going to get even more detailed in a sec, but I want you to know that this water that's coming off the coast of South Africa here, and this is really important to know about grape growing and climate and all that kind of stuff, is this water is super, 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 super cold, okay, along the Atlantic coast, because that water is coming off of Antarctica. Okay, so south of South Africa is Antarctica. Okay, so on the Atlantic side, so over here along the left, on the western side, is where the Atlantic Ocean is, and you're going to get very cold water. Now, if you get around the corner here, over close to the Eastern Cape and over up into Durban, along the right side here, the eastern side of South Africa, you're actually in the Indian Ocean. And the Indian Ocean actually brings quite warm water. Now, you'll notice the grape growing region we're going to be talking about is this little Western Cape section here. And I'm going to zoom out for a sec so you can see it. This map is not a Wine Folly map, and I do want to give thanks to Stephen DeLong. DeLong makes very famous wine maps. I actually just got a Kickstarter set. He did brand new ones for like all the regions of the world, and it's a beautiful box set, and I supported the Kickstarter. So if you get a chance and you want some really good wine maps, Steve DeLong, D-E-L-O-N-G, makes beautiful wine maps, and this is his. So many thanks to Stephen DeLong. Want to make sure I recognize him. But you'll notice all of these little colored regions, these are all on the western side where that really cold water is. So it's really important to understand once you get around the end of the Cape, right, this little south coast, and you start going up the other side, we're getting too warm. They don't have the right climate. Now, probably going to try to make bulk wine, but it is not the ideal growing conditions. So the concentration of growing wine in South Africa is along the Atlantic coast. The cooler water bringing cooler winds and cooler climatic conditions and weather patterns into this growing region. Because it gets inland, it gets pretty darn hot here. And so you need that balance. Anne's asking, is this the Humboldt current? I believe so. It's been a minute since I studied my current names. If you looked it up earlier and you know that this is for sure thing, I'm pretty sure it is the Humboldt current. That sounds right. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here because most of us know Cape Town. A little more map business before we jump in. Okay. Whoa, that was really far, Andy. Let's zoom out just a tad. Sorry about that, guys. I want to point out the town of Cape Town right here. So this is what most people know. This is the area that a lot of people get to visit. So Cape Town proper is kind of where the words Cape Town right here are written. Now, you can call this whole region, this is the Cape Town wine growing region. Okay, that's why you see Cape Town written 3 times, but the actual town or city of Cape Town is centered here, in this, like next to this middle Cape Town area. All right, now you get in a car, you get to Cape Town and you get in a car and you drive 45 minutes, y'all. 45 minutes, that's it, to the town of Stellenbosch. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom a little further in here. Stellenbosch, the town, is in the center of the Stellenbosch region. Okay, this is the whole Stellenbosch region. The town of Stellenbosch itself has over 500 wineries within a 1-hour driving distance. So 45 minutes outside of Cape Town is the epicenter of South African wine country. And that's actually the first thing I want to tell you that you need to know. Thing 1 today is South Africa's Cape Winelands needs to be on your wine travel shortlist. All right. I'm going to take this map down because I want to show you a picture of what this looks like. It is absolutely stunning. if any golfers out there or golf fans know the guy, the South African golfer, his name is Ernie Els. He has a winery in Stellenbosch, but y'all, I mean, come on. Look at this. Isn't this just stunning? You always have these mountain ridges, depending on which kind of valley you're in, determines which mountains you're looking at. You have these hillside vineyards, and then you have these stunning views. I mean, some of the most beautiful, like, outdoor spaces I've ever seen in my whole life. And specifically, if you've ever been to Ernie Els Winery, you'll sit on their back porch looking out into the valley, out into their vineyards, and there's like a mini, like, mountain ridge on the left and a mini, not even mini, mountain ridge on your right, and you just kind of look forever into vines. And I'm not a huge golfer, but they have a little pad, and you can literally hit golf balls from the back patio of the Ernie Els Winery into the vineyards. It is so fun. You're like drinking wine, watching the sun go down between these two mountain ridges, and you're hitting golf balls into the vineyard. I assume they've got like grounds team that goes out there and picks up all the balls and stuff, but it's a lot of fun, and it is beautiful, and the wine's delicious. And so you need to put this on your short list, guys. They've been making wine in South Africa since the 17th century. Grapes were brought there by the Dutch. So you guys probably know there's a long history of colonies, and the Brits and the Dutch have a long history here. Very obviously, like, tons of history, and specifically the Dutch bringing wine in the 17th century. And at one point, the sweet wine of Constantia, which is actually kind of closer into the city of Cape Town, was the most prized dessert wine in the world. It's still delicious, but it was known the world over. Y'all, the food here is incredible. A lot of these wineries have like little B&Bs you can stay at attached to them, restaurants, and like some of the best restaurants in the whole country attached to the winery. So you can like eat, drink, stay, the whole 9 yards. It's incredible. The people are some of the most hospitable people I've ever been around. You need to go. All right. That's thing one. Cheers to South Africa. Cheers to future William Chris field trips to South African wine country. Y'all, I'm going to check in the comments here. Let's see what's going on. If there's any questions I need to answer before we move to thing two. Jennifer's asking, is the region that has red wine, Bordeaux blend, etc.? So yes, there has been a significant increase in the last. So it used to be overwhelmingly white wine, and we're going to talk about that. Lots of Chenin Blanc. Then it went through, most recently, there's been a 10-year phase and a 4-year phase. So I'm going to walk you through both of those. Before the most recent, it was a 4-year phase, and just before that was a 10-year phase. In that 10-year phase, they planted tons and tons and tons and tons of red. And so they've done a lot with Bordeaux blends, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cab Franc, is the whole list of Bordeaux wines. Then, and Pinotage, because we're going to talk about Pinotage. Then the last 4 years, they flipped back to planting more white than red. And so that's the last 14 years of what they're doing to replant. So back in the day, this is the little bit of history before we go into thing two, they were really well known for bulk wine production, low quality, chuggable jug wine, and they could produce a ton of it. And South Africa was one of the biggest producers of bulk wine in the world, and it ended up in a lot of really cheap wine. Well, they've been on a huge push to rip up a lot of the plantings that were done probably in an unhealthy way, because they wanted to plant a lot, and they planted the vines too close to each other, and it was just all about high numbers and not about quality. And so they've been doing a lot of replanting. Yes, there are beautiful, amazing, incredible Bordeaux blend style wines that come out of this region. But the thing I want to talk to you about first is actually a white grape. Good question here. Best grown grape. We're actually going to talk about two of those, Chenin Blanc and Pinotage. Alta's asking, did I feel safe traveling? Absolutely. No issues. just like any other place in the world, any other big city, you know, you just be smart about things. But I didn't feel unsafe more than I would in downtown Austin or downtown New York City or downtown, you name it, other city. So, you know, be smart. But I loved it. It was incredible. Is the Cape Wine region English speaking? Absolutely. So most of them are going to speak Afrikaans with two A's, Afrikaans, Afrikaans. It sounds similar to Dutch, but Afrikaans is kind of the local language that pretty much everybody, it's a very like Dutch heavy area. But everybody speaks English. I never came across somebody who didn't speak both. So you don't have to worry about language barrier. It's not an issue. Ken, when I say jug wine, I'm just talking about like buy it in like 3-liter style, really cheap, really terrible, just not good wine. It's another way of saying bulk wine or cheap wine. So let's jump in because we got to get to thing 2. Once a workhorse grape, Chenin Blanc is now being used to make world-class, age-worthy white wines in South Africa. So I need to give you a little bit of background on Chenin Blanc in South Africa. It used to be, and still to many, goes by the name Steen, S-T-E-E-N. Okay, this is its old Dutch name. It was brought here by a wine-growing cooperative, a Dutch wine-growing cooperative, and it dominated 20th century growing. And it was mostly made because it can be, especially if it's overproduced and like overgrown, it can be very neutral. And if you have a neutral grape with not a lot of character, it makes really good grapes for brandy. And South Africa was a really big brandy producer. And so Chenin Blanc was grown in bulk and used for brandy production. Okay, it is still the nation's most cultivated variety. But here's a difference I want to talk to you about. In the Loire Valley, where Chenin Blanc is very famous, so right, northern France in the Loire Valley, Chenin Blanc is super, super famous, and it has this super high acid there, and you have to almost leave just a touch of residual sugar in it to balance that really intense acid. Well, in South Africa, they vinify theirs bone dry. They usually don't leave any residual sugar in it. And that's because it's a little bit warmer. The grapes get a little bit riper. They have old vine Chenin Blanc vines. So we're talking like old, like 80, 90, 100-year-old vines. And y'all, if y'all remember, we talked about this a lot. Old vines usually produce smaller clusters and smaller berries within those clusters, and fewer clusters in general. So smaller fruit production and tinier berries. And when you do that, you have more skin to juice ratio. And when you have riper grapes and smaller berries, you basically get this natural extract, better natural extract from the small berries. And that's where this texture and weight comes from to balance the acidity of the Chenin Blanc grape. They even did a study, guys, get this. They did a study at Stellenbosch University, which is a really important winemaking university out there. Stellenbosch University found that old vine Chenin Blanc exhibit aromas, complex aromas, and concentrated balance, lengthy mouthfeel. As this university did a wine sensory experiment on old vine Chenin Blanc. Like, can I please be a test subject in these? Like, where are these studies being done, and how do I sign up for them? So they say grapes on older vines ripen later, have a lower pH, which means actual, like it's a higher acidity. I mean, lower pH is higher acidity, and lower sugar. So you get this like late ripening, ripe fruit profile, great skin to juice ratio with a balanced high acidity. It's incredible. It like literally nature is providing them with the perfect fruit to just press it and put it in the bottle, and it's ready to go, and it's great. I love Chenin Blanc. I think it's one of the world's best grapes. So I did want to let you know, if you're not familiar with it, you don't drink very much of it. It gives you this like yellow apple, pear, honey, chamomile, and sometimes kind of like waxy sensation, but always refreshing acidity. Always refreshing acidity, and it's good in a sweet version. It's good in a dry version. It's good in a sparkling wine. Guys, this is the cool thing about Chenin Blanc is it can be made in kind of like Riesling into all these different styles. And I love it. South Africa is making some of the most beautiful, under the radar, high quality, age-worthy Chenin Blanc. That's me waxing quixotic. And obviously I love it if you can't hear the passion come through. So, whew, let's all take a drink. Happy hour. We made it through 2 things. Almost time for a third. Oh yeah, you love the Pinotage. I did too. Yes, Sarah, Afrikaans. There it is. That's how you spell it, guys. It's time to talk about Pinotage. I have a complicated relationship with Pinotage, y'all. I'm not sure if some of you have ever had Pinotage or even know what Pinotage is. So let's talk about Pinotage. All right, y'all ready for this? Thing number 3. Pinotage is a cross of Senso and Pinot Noir, and it was created at the University of Stellenbosch. Right? Pretty cool. So it was first crossed in South Africa in 1925. 1925, in the gardens of Abraham Perold, who was a professor at the University of Stellenbosch. Okay. He was thinking, I want a wine as delicious as Pinot Noir, but that grows as well as Senso. So we've talked about Pinot Noir on here before. Pinot Noir is notoriously a terrible grower. Not good. It's finicky. It has disease issues. It's rolling the dice. It is a huge gamble and investment for a farmer or a wine grower to grow Pinot Noir. So he was thinking, South Africa, it's hard to grow good Pinot Noir. I'm going to try and cross because I want the flavors of Pinot Noir, but I want it to grow as well as Senso does. Well, you guys know Senso, we've covered Senso on here. It's lighter too. So both of these are lighter in style grapes. Well, the result of crossing Senso and Pinot Noir was unexpected. So you don't really get, just because you cross these 2 things, biologically doesn't mean you're going to get just a combination of the flavors that are typically there. So what he got as a result was a grape that is extremely dark in color and a wine that is bold and high in tannin. The compound that makes the grapes dark is called anthocyanin. So when you get all that, these grapes and the wine that's produced from these grapes is nothing like Senso and nothing like Pinot Noir. It's so different. It comes across with notes of like smoke, tobacco, blackberry, plum. You even get some like tar in there. But guys, this, if you like smoky barbecue, is your barbecue friendly wine of the summer. Cool. It's going to be big. It's a lot of times going to be high in alcohol. And it's got a little like, I don't know how to describe it, like animal to it. It's got a savory animal thing going on. And somms the world over, wine industry professionals the world over are split on Pinotage. Some of them love it and think it's great. And they love that gaminess, that kind of animal note with the smoke and the rich black fruit. And they're all about it. And everybody else is like, I'm out. And right now, guys, I'm going to let you know, because I got to be honest with you. I'm not here to lie to you. I'm more on the out camp than the in camp on Pinotage. I've never been able to really just get behind the animal aspect of it. But y'all, it's a huge deal. When you travel to South Africa, as you're going to go, when you travel to South Africa and you go visit some wineries, pretty much everybody's making their version of Pinotage. It's kind of like going to Chile. Everybody's got a Carmenere. And you got to try it. It's the local variety. It's the local style, and it's everywhere. So if you're, if you're kind of you got to try it anyway. Because this is the thing about wine, guys. If you don't try it, you don't retry things. You're never going to learn it, and maybe you're going to find a hidden gem that you didn't know you liked. Okay, but Pinotage is South Africa's most famous grapes. You have to know it. You got to try it at some point, especially if you're smoking Texas brisket. Give Pinotage a shot, because maybe that's the pairing you never expected you would love. And it's not expensive, y'all. It's a big, bold red wine with great smoky, kind of complex character, and it's not expensive to purchase. So it's worth at least a bottle for you to try and see if you like. Again, me personally, I haven't really found ones that I'm a big fan of. Now, they like to blend Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot and some of the other Bordeaux varieties with it to kind of help balance some of that like animal thing that I think happens, to get you a more well-rounded, fruitier, fruit-driven wine. Not sweet, but, you know, luscious wine. You can get Pinotage in the States. I don't have a good producer to point you towards for Pinotage. I am going to list some producers of some other amazing South African wines, because you guys know I always like to give you some producers. So let's hop to that. These producers are going to be of other stuff like Chenin Blanc and Senso and other beautiful wines. Some of them probably have a red blend that will have Pinotage in it. Now, I don't know if any of them has a 100% Pinotage, but I bet a couple of these folks have their own version of a what they call a Cape red blend, or a Cape blend, named after this part of South Africa, the Western Cape. Cool. Guys, this is South Africa. Let's all take a deep breath. I'm going to check in the comments, see if there's any questions I need to ask before letting you go. I will tell you, those first four on there, Craven, Sadie Family, Thorn and Daughters, and Molyneux, some of my favorite Chenin Blancs in the whole world coming from those producers, but they also make great red wines. So these producers make both red and white. So if you see the names, know that you're drinking high quality, ageable stuff. Y'all, this has been a trip. I've super enjoyed it. Don't know yet what we're going to cover next week, but I've got these three things for you. Don't go anywhere, because you need this information. We only do happy hour once a week, so you got to make sure you get these three things from me. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on good information. Some of you might have already heard. This. This is a big deal. As of this week, we have officially gained clearance to reopen our doors to customers with limited service. So starting this Thursday, High Society Club members are able to make reservations for educational wine experiences and food and wine pairings. Guys, this is your chance. If you're in the wine club, you can make a reservation. Get at that link, make it happen. Take a break, putting safety precautions in place. We're going to be outdoors serving wine. I don't know all the logistics yet. I know that the team was meeting this morning to get prepped for this. Everybody's super stoked to host you guys and see your faces again. But we want you to make reservations. So come on. Number 2, we have a brand new wine in this week's virtual tasting. And you guys are going to get 2 bottles of Brianna's dressing. Guys, I didn't know this, but Brianna's is based in Brenham, Texas. So we're supporting a fellow Texas producer. Honestly, like, I didn't know who Brianna's was. And then I went to my fridge and I was like, oh, that's the salad dressing I have in my fridge currently. Guys, incredible salad dressings. There are Brianna's dressings in the virtual tasting pack this week. These wines are going to be great for the summer. You want to grab them. Chef Ty is going to give some summer recipes using the dressing. So get at that link, get the virtual tasting pack. You're going to get some salad dressing from Brianna's, another Texas producer in there. Awesome. Number 3, guys, last chance to get your happy hour pack, so you can drink along with us on happy hour, which I think some of you have already been doing, because I'm seeing that you're drinking what I'm drinking. You can get the happy hour pack for the whole month of August. So grab it. It's 4 bottles. You want to drink along with us, you can. Next week, I'm going to be having 2016 High Tanat. That 16 High Tanat itself is worth the whole pack. So go get it. You want to make it happen. Guys, this has been a blast. Happy hour. Happy end of Wednesday. Happy South African wine. Let's book a field trip. I'll see you guys next week, Wednesday. Bye-bye. Cheers. So good.